The actor Tony Todd has sadly passed away a few days ago, and I have talked about him in depth in multiple videos. I'm a huge horror fan, if you don't know. Tony Todd is one of my favorite actors of all time, and I'm a huge horror fan. These two go together to make basically a lot of my videos be centered at least a little bit around him, where he gets at least a spot in the video, like my top 10 horror villains, top 10 horror actors. I think I did. There's been a whole bunch. Top 10 horror movies. He was in the part 3 of that, I'm pretty sure. There's been like 4 parts so far. I need to do the last part pretty soon. But yeah, this man is amazing, and like he basically made me a horror fan. Candyman was like the first horror movie that I saw that was like actually more than just a splatter movie. It had a really good main villain with a really like heartbreaking reason to be doing what he's doing. He's kind of I don't know. He is, and he's like one of the biggest horror actors in the horror genre. And like I said, one of my favorite actors in general. So today I wanted to just, I don't know, talk about a few of the roles that he's had that I just really, really love, and give y'all some movies to watch with him in it, because I don't know, this is a huge loss for the horror community as a whole. Like, genuinely, I figured he'd be in a whole lot more movies than he was, and it really, really sucks. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna start this off with the first movie that everyone thinks of whenever they think of Tony Todd. Candyman. Candyman is one of the best horror movies ever. This is the first one where I'm going to talk less about the movies and more about Tony Todd as an actor, because this is supposed to be a video just going through my favorite movies with him in it, and just kind of celebrating his life and his career. So yeah, this is the first one where I realized that Tony Todd's voice fits perfectly with either a hero or a villain. He just has a voice that demands respect and has a charming aura to it. I would have loved to see him play Dracula or any vampire, to be honest, because I don't know, he just had the perfect voice for it and mannerisms and everything. And Candyman reminds me a lot of Dracula, especially whenever he's talking to the main chick in this movie. I cannot remember her name, but him in the garage talking to her with his big booming voice, it's just so good. This movie is perfect in general, honestly. I really, really love this movie. I think Candyman is a very, very sad character that is just really, really cool. I really feel for him, like everything he went through in life and everything, and it brought him back. And I think it's a really, really good ghost story, and a really good, it just pulls at your heartstrings with what he had to go through, and then coming back as Candyman and everything. It's just such a good movie, and such a good portrayal. I honestly don't think anyone could play Candyman like him ever again. Even this new remake, it's not even his Candyman, it's a different one that's down the line of the Candyman. That's a really good remake. If you haven't seen it, you should go and watch that. But definitely watch this if you haven't seen it, please. Oh my god, this will make you a horror fan so fast. Next up, we got a movie where he is more of a, just a little occasional character, but every single Final Destination movie, I'm pretty sure it's all of them, maybe there's one that's Tony Toddless, and it's just the worst thing ever. He plays the mortician in all of them. He's cool. He's really good. He's the creepy mortician guy in these movies, and it's just really good for creepy lines and everything like that. And I mean, it's Tony Todd. I'd love seeing him in any movie, even if he is just a just a side character. While I was watching this movie, Hellfest, I was kind of like, oh, this is just a normal, B-rate slasher movie. It's set in a cool setting, but none of the characters are really working with me or anything. But then the best scene happens. Tony Todd comes out, and one of the girls agreed to be on this show thing. It's like an amusement park. It's kind of like Texas Frightmare Weekend, basically. But it's a little guillotine that's not sharp or anything. And then they act like they cut her head off. And then they take her back, and Tony Todd does a huge speech and everything. It's so good. I love Tony Todd. If you haven't seen this movie, I'd say that one scene is probably worth watching it, honestly. And then he leaves, and then the best part in the movie happens whenever the killer tries to get her with the guillotine. It's just dull, so he has to hit her and then lift it up and then hit her again, over and over. It's a really good scene, and Tony Todd gets an awesome monologue speech. If you haven't seen this movie and you just want to see that, I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. Just look up Hellfist Tony Todd scenes, and that's literally all you have to do. I'm fairly certain someone has just cut out all of the garbage out of this movie and gotten all of the beautiful Tony Todd scenes all compiled together. The Hatchet series is one of my favorite series, like, in general, for a film franchise. I think this is a very, very good slasher franchise. And honestly, Tony Todd in these movies is an absolute standout whenever it comes to the characters. I don't remember anything any of the other characters have said. Like, none of them, like, really stand out to me, but I will think about this scene in particular every once in a while. I'm not going to play the scene because, copyright. But they basically go to Tony Todd's character to get a tour ride down in the swamps, where Victor Crowley calls home. And he's basically just like, I don't do the tour rides anymore. It's like, oh, what happened? And he says, you don't want to know. And then they're basically just like, yes, we do. And he's just like, there was a child that saw eyes in the swamp in the forest, and his foot was dangling from the boat because he wanted to get out in a rush. And the two dudes that are standing there, like the two main characters, are just like, oh, did a gator get him? Did he die? And then he goes, what? No. He slipped and hit his head on the roof, and that bastard sued me. And that is the best scene in this entire franchise, other than the kills. The kills are freaking insane in these movies. But yeah, that's one scene from these movies that I will go back to just all the time and just remember it, because it's just so good, and the delivery is perfect. It's so cool. I love it. His character in these movies is actually just amazing. Tales from the Hood 3 isn't a good movie, and I remember absolutely none of it except Tony Todd's scenes. If you don't know what Tales from the Hood is, it's an anthology series movies, and just like a regular anthology series, there's always something that is in between the stories just to hold it together, and someone else is telling the stories, you know what I mean. And then this one, it's Tony Todd carrying a little girl through a underground garage, and then out through a woods, kind of. And then at the end, she ends up being the devil, like, in all of them. And she says, welcome to hell, motherfucker. And that's it. Yeah, I don't remember anything about this movie. I don't remember any of the stories. This might be the one where the racist redneck is in the zoo and then accidentally kills himself because it's a force field whenever he shoots. It might be that one, but I honestly cannot remember. But I remember Tony Todd, because honestly, the best thing about Tony Todd is every single performance he does, he brings something that no other actor can. And that is he has an aura about him that is just so cool. And just every time he plays a character, it's just, he demands your attention wherever he's on screen. And it's in a good way, not like I don't know, some actors have it like it's just annoying, but he has it to where it's just a passive aura effect, basically, of coolness. And it's just so amazing. And this is one of those movies that I don't really like, but I would watch again just because Tony Todd's in it, and he does a really good job. Wishmaster is a movie that he's in, and he's very good in, but he's also just a side character yet again. I think in this movie, this really goes to show how good he is, because this movie has horror legends out the wazoo, if you know what I'm saying. We've got Kane Hodder, we've got Robert Englund, we've got the dude who plays the Djinn. I can't remember who he is, but I'd put him up on the pedestal of being a horror icon. And then we've got Tony Todd, we've got a whole bunch of other horror icons that I just can't even think of right now, and I still remember him in this movie because he stands up there with all of them. He is one of the greats in horror and in acting in general, I think. Honestly, I've been planning to do a horror icons, like an actor Mount Rushmore type of thing, and Tony Todd is going to be on it, and I don't know, just hearing that he died just really sucks. It's actually awful, because, like I said, I was expecting him to be in more movies and everything, and I don't know, it just really sucks. The horror community has lost a legend, and it really sucks, but at least we have all of these amazing roles and everything that we can go back and see him in, and just appreciate how good of an actor he really was, because he genuinely was an amazing actor. There are a lot of actors that I like, that I can completely admit that they aren't very good at acting. They're just flamboyant or whatever. They just have a good personality. But Tony Todd is genuinely an amazing actor, and he brings something to his roles that no other actor ever can, and I don't think they're ever gonna be able to replace him. I think we've genuinely lost an actor that is just in a league of his own, and I don't know, it just really sucks for the horror community. But hopefully this video will get people to watch his movies and, I don't know, love him as much as I do, because he genuinely was one of the ones that made me get into horror and everything, with his roles in, Hatchet, Candyman mostly, and all of these other movies. And he's in a ton more movies. If you've ever watched, like, any B-grade horror movie or anything like that, you probably have seen Tony Todd at least once, even if you don't know it. He's pretty hard to miss with a voice like that, though, so I mean, you probably noticed. But yeah, Tony Todd is definitely going to be missed, but he will never be forgotten, with as many amazing movies and amazing roles he's been in, because even if he's in a not so good movie, he is a bright light in that dark abyss. He's a very good actor, and he's going to be missed by everybody that loves horror, and anybody that grows to love horror later. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video celebrating his life, because it really sucks to hear that he died. But yeah, go ahead and comment your favorite Tony Todd role or movie or anything like that. See ya.